I'm Gary Schotten, and I'm here as a part of Inspiring Better Business. And we hope these are very helpful to you as business entrepreneurs and those that want to be a business owner. So today we're going to talk about working smart. We have had other lessons on the value of work, and that comes up pretty regular. And so we're here to really take this to another level of when we are working, how do we get the most out of our time? How do we get the most end result at the end of the day or end of the week, end of the month? And to kind of take care of something quickly here, we're not going to endorse anyone that's lazy. So working is a part of business ownership, and we're just going to take that off the plate up front. If you're a person that's lazy, can't get away from the TV, never finishing projects, you're going to frustrate relationships. I know of more than one marriage that was basically nullified or ended in divorce because one of the two spouses just turned out to be totally lazy, and the other spouse didn't want a life ending up with that result. So take that off the plate and be a worker. We are going to talk about not being a workaholic, because that's the other end of the spectrum. We have people that lose relationships on that they're never home, they never take care of the home life, they've always got something else to do, always working, never letting themselves rest or enjoy life. So let's take that off the plate also. So we need to be in the middle of the stream here where we're willing to work, but we're not work to the detriment of our lives, our families, and our relationships. But how do we actually work smart? I'm going to give two examples of my two ownerships, and I have no expectation of telling you that I'm an expert, because I have yet much to learn in this. And I'm going to share some things that I've done in those two areas after I give these key points. Number one, I'm a hands-on person, so I happen to be one that if I'm going to manage something or delegate something or lead something or own something, I probably am only going to do that if I personally can have some firsthand knowledge. That's not long lasting, but I'm going to know what is going on in order to manage correctly or in order to lead correctly. They're just impossible for me to fathom that I'm going to have something in my control that I don't understand pretty well. I'm going to learn something about what I'm managing or leading. I'm going to work to learn that. It's an effort to learn, ask questions, do research, experiment, the things necessary for me to be indoctrinated into my business per se. There's a problem when we get into that, and that's one of the things I fight, is that sometimes I get into something, and this is probably number two, that I've got to be willing to let go of certain things. My time is not just an issue of, do I have time to sweep the floor? I still will bend up and pick something up off the floor. That's not my job. I don't do it on a regular basis. But I'm not above the work. But once I've got something mastered or understood and put it into a system and a process, man, that's hard for me. I've got to let go, let someone else take those systems and processes and improve them. I just don't tell the people, just do whatever you want. I want to see their system and process. I want them to be able to see what procedures they go through and that they can repeat that, because that's the only way we're going to anticipate a guaranteed end result that's predictable. So I've got to create systems and processes that allow that. Now, we've also got to look at the reality that there's lessons we've taught already on not working in the business, but working on the business. When you can let go of something, when you can create leadership and guide people and turn it over and not actually feel that you have to inspect every move, then you are working on your business. I will say from another lesson I've taught that a key indicator of working on your business and working smart is whether or not your personal net worth is increasing. If you don't make a personal net worth report where on one side of the ledger you list all of those things that you own, that's your assets, and you list all those things that you owe, that's the dollar amount that you owe other people, if you subtract the to, that's your equity. It's really a balance sheet. And that's what we could call our personal net worth. And I've done that, the same worksheet over years and years and years, where I see and watch my personal net worth change, hopefully up, increasing over time. That would probably mean that you're working smart. So there's certain indicators that you can see. That are people following you? Are they willing to follow your lead? Are you accomplishing something? I mean, you know whether or not it's working or not. Now, I'm going to use my two examples. Number one, back in the early 80s, I moved to a new town, and I could not find a job in my profession. I'm a skilled and graduate engineer in the area of minerals processing. There was nothing. I was more adapted into construction. There was nothing. I had no opportunity for a job, and I had responsibilities for a family of 5, which included 3 small children. And I started a moving and storage business with just a horse trailer pulled behind my family car, and we started moving people. It started out of necessity, and it ended up into owning it for 17 years. But here's my examples. I was willing to work. I wasn't lazy, but I had to guard against being a workaholic. But I started creating in systems and processes from day one on how to load trucks. I used recordings. I taught people how to get their commercial driver's license. I did a video on that because I saw that was a repeat thing, and I just grabbed an big old VHS camera and did a video so people could learn. I did it once, so I had a system to do that. So I was trying way back then to work smart. I put together a data collection system where I arranged and scheduled all the way from all the 5 salesmen that we had, how to land a sale, how to record it in the computer. And so I believe I was, in a fledgling way, learning to work smart with that first business. And we reached the point of 65 to 75 employees on a regular basis year-round, a few more in the summertime, and we reached a point of about $3 million in sales annually. I sold that business. Now let me tell you about business number 2. I'm talking about the subject of working smart. I purchased a machine shop. You see the evidence of that behind me. It was over 13 years ago that I did that. But when I bought it, I knew nothing about the machine shop business. I had skill sets in the business side of owning and operating a business at about that level, about that size. I had sold a business with 65 to 75 employees. I bought a business with 41. I had sales at that time in my other business around $3 million. I bought a business that had about $4 million in sales. Now we're up to $10 million in sales now. So we're putting processes and systems in place to create that. But right away, I started learning about this new business. Now I cannot actually make a part or even measure a part, but I do know how it works. I do understand. I have to catch ahead of that. So I work on understanding what's going on, and I work on putting together in systems and processes, and then I work on encouraging and leading our workers to improve and make those systems and processes work, because they're part of the process. They are part of the ones building the systems and processes. That's probably the best thing I could say for working smart, is to bring other people in, and you don't have to give them necessarily financial rewards. You've got to give them fair pay. I'm also now in a spot leading Inspiring Better Business, this ministry. I have just a few workers that are under pay in some way, and I have a host of volunteers. I'm understanding virtually everything that needs to be done, but if I try to do everything, it's going to be a one-man band, a one person doing this. So I hope you see this is something that's close to me, something I'm interested in, it's something I'm trying to perfect, and by no means have I learned what all about doing working smart, but I'm sure I have an effort there. Well, thank you for being a part of Inspiring Better Business, IBBBTalks.com.